Brian Grimes, your real estate mentor, back with another action-packed session. Today, we're going to talk about, is real estate worth it in 2025? Is it still worth it? Should you get into the game? A lot of people are sitting on the sidelines wondering, hey, is this still a good time to get in? It's kind of the number one question I would say right now in real estate. So we're going to talk about that, some of the doubts that are out there, why I think it's still a good time, and some of the best strategies for 2025 if you're serious about getting started. If you're new to the channel, like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment that says I subscribed, and I'll share some free trainings with you. I'll shoot those over to you. If you're interested in any of our mentorship programs, some housekeeping, we have our real estate ride along tour that is happening Saturday, May 31st. That's going to be in Philly. You're going to spend the day with me touring properties in Philly. We're probably going to see about 15 to 20 different properties in different phases of full gut rehab. Let me just bring this up. In different phases of full gut rehab. So that'll be a good opportunity for you to learn the game hands-on. A lot of people are hands-on learners. There's just like no other way for them to learn real estate. So that's a good way to come out, see the cost of construction, see how houses are built, and learn how to get into the game. Spend a day with me, grab lunch. If you're interested in just learning about the game, like you just want the knowledge of how to dominate 2025, click the link in the description or click the link in bio and tap into the 24/7 cash flow community. It's $27 to join, just to keep out the tire kickers. We want to keep the people who really aren't that serious about real estate anyway, and who are just looking for another free training that they're not going to watch anyway, out. This is for serious action takers. We're building a strong community of investors, but we also have private money lenders and architects, engineers, accountants. We'll teach you how to structure your LLCs, kind of all of that fun stuff. So if you want to tap into that, just click the link in the description or click the link in bio. If you're on YouTube, it's right in the description. And then we have our Boots on the Ground program. A lot of people are always interested in that. If you want us to find, finance, rehab, tenant, and manage properties for you, we do that in our Boots on the Ground program. It also gives you like kind of one-on-one access where I'm working with you one-on-one to find you profitable deals. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, just reach out, DM Boots on the Ground, DM Ride Along. Once again, that's May 31st. That's pretty much sold out. There's a couple people signed up today. We're pretty much out of tickets, definitely when I do the head count. So that one you may miss, but if you're still interested, like reach out ASAP. All right. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get into, is real estate still worth it in 2025? If you guys have questions, comments, drop them in the chat section, drop them in the comment section, and let's flow through this. Let me see if I can blow this up a little bit. So let's go through the top 5 doubts. And this is really what is causing this question in a lot of people. Like, is this still a good time? Should I invest in 2025? A lot of people are sitting on the sidelines, not quite sure what they're waiting for, but I do understand some of the issues. Number one, interest rates. Some people are waiting for rates to kind of fall into a better position, or they're still listening to the news that kind of told you, well, most people have a 4% rate, so they're not going to sell and they're not going to unlock their inventory until rates drop below 4 and, blase, blase. But what has happened in the market over the course of time is the market, what you have to understand about the real estate market is it doesn't just roll over and play dead. It adjusts to market conditions. So as rates increased, rents increased. A lot of things started to fluctuate and unlock more cash flow, even at higher interest rates. So what you need to look at is not today's interest rate, but what they call the effective rate. The effective rate accounts for the other market fluctuations that happened around the rate to make the cash flow equally as profitable. Right now, even at 6.5%, 7.5% interest rates, the cash flow is the same on many of these assets as it was when rates were 4% or 4.5% on a DSCR loan. So you're seeing an effective rate because of rent inflation that is still highly profitable. So sitting around waiting for interest rates to fall is in many ways meaningless, because as rates fall, prices go up. A lot of these things keep happening and the market keeps fluctuating. So while you're waiting, you're losing a lot of value. We're going to talk about all the value you're losing as we get into this, a little bit deeper into this. But understand that rates are just part of the story. It's not the whole shebang. So you can't just look at interest rates and then make your decision to sit on the sideline. In fact, the saying is that you should marry the house, date the rate. because you can buy a rental property, and then as rates fall, which they're projected to do, and they are doing actively right now, as we get into 2026, which is 6 months away, 2026, 2027, rates fall. Now you refinance into lower interest rates. So you unlock cash flow and buy at today's prices. If you wait, as rates fall, prices go up. So if you wait, you're waiting to buy into higher pricing. And that would be penny wise, pound foolish. Let's get into the next one. Affordability. That's another one. The top 5 doubts: affordability. People are waiting for prices to come down. People are waiting for more affordability to hit certain markets. And they may hit certain markets, like you're seeing in Florida, like the condo market in Florida. Yeah, there's going to be more affordability there because they're getting slaughtered. But even with affordability chasing, going to that Florida market, the reason that prices are falling in Florida is because HOA fees, insurance rates are increasing, and premiums are increasing. There are a lot of negative factors that cause affordability. So if you're just running around chasing affordability or waiting for the prices to come down, you have no understanding of why prices are coming down. And if it's a good time to buy, you might buy double the HOA again. And you're like, damn, I didn't realize the HOA was bad. You aren't looking at the right factors. So you definitely have to have a broad understanding of the market, which is why we focus on that with our course content, with our 24/7 cash flow community, with all of our mentorship. We talk a lot about multiple strategies and really understanding the market so that you can make true independent decisions and not do the next of the top 5 doubts or things that are causing you doubt, which is news headlines. Just sitting there watching the news, seeing what's going on out there. They're going to feed you all these doom and gloom headlines because that's what sells. That's what gets clicks. If 2 articles are written and one says, the real estate market looks very nice right now, and the other one says, if you buy, you're going to lose everything. Your wife's going to divorce you. You're dead. You're done. You're going to click on that headline first, that second one, the doom and gloom. So reading news headlines and being led essentially by the tail is not a good strategy. It's not a good investment strategy. You'd be much better to focus on getting actual market knowledge of like how different factors impact rental properties, how durable are they in certain markets and under certain conditions. And as you gain more of an understanding there and understand different monetization strategies, you can make independent decisions and you can just read actual information, actual data and statistics, and not have to depend on news headlines. In many cases, you'll read news headlines and understand, they're just being like full of it. And the big hedge funds that are going and buying all the single family properties and buying all the residential properties, they're the ones paying for these headlines. So stay away from the news. When you get really busy at real estate, you won't have much time to read the news. You will read to look for big things like political things or things that are happening on the landscape that could have impacts, but you'll still have a pretty balanced idea there. Number 4 is social media. Like going on social, I mean, you're on social media now, right? So like you're watching this on Instagram or YouTube. Social media can be good and bad because of the algorithm. Like if I'm in your algorithm, that's probably good because I'm giving you more free thinking type of knowledge. But in many cases, you can get programmed, especially if you start clicking on a bunch of doom and gloom. The algorithm's just going to feed you what you're watching. So you might rely on social media for your news, but if you are relying on that algorithm, it's just feeding you whatever you spend the most time on. So you're not going to get a fair shake of the market, and you may always and only get doom and gloom. And do realize that there are some talking heads out there that I've seen over the years where all they do is doom and gloom. It doesn't matter the market. They were talking doom and gloom in 2018. I'm doing 30K cash out refinance per deal and building 20 every quarter. And they're talking doom and gloom, doom and gloom. Then when something happens in 2023, rates go up, they're like, I told you. And it's like, bro, all you say is doom and gloom. Even a broke clock is right twice a day, right? So don't trust just social media. It's always, social media is good to point your attention to certain things, but then you have to research. Go read the actual articles. Like when even like some things that are circulating right now are like Trump's tax bill, the big beautiful bill. Read it. Go read it. Don't listen to headlines and news on it. The news and the headlines are there to point you, and social media is there to point you. Now go actually read the article if you want to have an opinion that you are going to put a behavior behind. If you are going to now take certain actions based upon a headline or social media news, you need to actually read the article. And you'll be shocked when you read the article, and half the time you're like, yo, the headline's nonsense. The article didn't even say that. Then you will be awake, and then you will be able to make independent decisions. And then paralysis analysis, paralysis through analysis, paralysis via analysis. I would say this is the two top issues that hold people back. Let me spin this over here. The two top issues that hold people back as new real estate investors, that keep them from getting results. One is that they're just too busy. And that's real. I used to think of it as more of an excuse, but it's not. You have kids, you're married or even not, might be single parent. You're raising kids, you're doing all this stuff, you're doing a job, you might have a couple of hobbies. Life is like, the window of life is so short. The older you get, the less time, the more your time is compressed. And you might not have the time, or you have some of the wisdom. The wisdom is, if I add this to my plate, I'm going to collapse. I'm going to freaking implode. This is like, a lot of people aren't conscious enough of their situation or reflective enough to understand that this is what's holding them back. But that's what holds back 99% of people, is they're too damn busy, and rightfully so. I'm not here to judge. I mean, I agree you're busy, but the solution would be to just get more of like a turnkey type of a service. There are turnkey operations, like the boots on the ground is turnkey. Clearly, we will find finance, rehab, tenant manage for you. So that solves that problem. There are other turnkey solutions out there. You have to vet, verify, and come up with your own conclusion on who you want to work with and why. I would just say, as a bit of advice, there are a lot of these turnkey operations, and you'll see them in some of the cheapest cities, like Cleveland, like Detroit, where people start saying, look, 100K or less deal, and we're just going to get you in, tenants already in, you don't have to worry about nothing. You do, because in some of these markets, they're so low to the ground, they're so cheap that they don't have any comps. And when you don't have comps, what you have to understand about real estate development is a house is a house is a house, square footage is square footage is square footage, and the cost of materials is the cost of materials. The only thing that varies realistically from location to location is labor costs. It's the only thing that varies. And you need to keep that in mind, because if you buy a house, even in Detroit, and the max after repair value is 125K, but that house is 1,200 square feet, and the average cost of construction for a heavy cosmetic rehab is $80 per square foot. That means if you gave it what it needed, you would be underwater on your mortgage. So when you buy in on some of these types of turnkey operations where you can't do a full rehab, you're going to screw yourself. Here's a major key. Some of you should write this down. Others should memorize it. Just because you buy a property and put a few dollars into it, or get your 10 properties. A lot of you have that goal. Drop a 10 in the chat or comment if your goal is 10 properties. Everybody starts there. Just because you get 10 doesn't mean it's a good thing. If you get a good 10 and you put the value into them and they're sturdy and durable, Big Rush dropped a 10. If they're sturdy and durable, Slamma to Grandma, which is kind of a very funny name on Instagram, dropped a 10. Just because you get your 10, if they're not durable, they're going to come back for you. They're going to come back to get you. If you try to speed race your way to 10 and you cut every corner, Latrice said 10. Everybody's on a 10. I was on a 10. My goal was 10 in 10 years. I did 305 to 7. Your goal doesn't matter, but the 10 is a magic number. It's like I'm in the double digits. I'm balling now. I get it. But you got to build the right 10. Emra Tucker said 10. A lot of people on that 10. You got to build the right houses. Understand, most of these cities were built in 1915, 1920. What does that mean? That means they're over 100 years old. That means your average property that you're buying at a discount needs major work. Major work. You got to clean up everybody else's corner cuts. So the guys that come to you pretending you can corner cut a like you can't triple stamp a double stamp is what my is what my older brother would say. You can't triple stamp a double stamp. That's real estate talk. You can't triple stamp a double stamp. It's done. It's going to fall apart. And then so that's number one. And then paralysis through analysis. Paralysis through analysis. Not understanding how to be an independent, free thinking investor leaves you stuck in paralysis through analysis, because then you're reading headlines and social media news on interest rates and affordability and all these different things, and you can't decipher. Yeah, Daryl Long said, I'll get back into that thought. Daryl Long said, got a tenant today. I was excited. I got the update this morning on a team meeting. And I said, yeah, hell yeah, Daryl. You know, I'm excited about that. We got another 10. We got a lot of 10s. Daryl said 100. His number's 100, but we got to build 100 strong ones. Whatever the number is, we got to build them strong. Because you don't understand the numbers, the cost of construction, the cost of rehab. What do the contractors get paid? Do you know? I know what not only the contractor gets paid, but what he pays his subs, what he pays his framers, what he pays his driver, what he pays his plumber. Having the information allows you to see through all the BS. It is the X-ray vision. It's the X-ray. It's the Superman vision of real estate. It's just knowing the basic cost of construction, and then being able to look at some of the things we're going to talk about next in the why it's worth it section. Understanding why real estate is worth it allows you to not have paralysis through analysis, because a lot of this is just self-imposed doubt. Like, oh, well, is real estate really good? What if it doesn't work? What if I fail? All of these questions. Where do I buy? What's a good market? How do I get good deals? Get educated? On the other side of those questions are answers. When you choose to get real answers, when you choose to move forward and get out of that paralysis. But a lot of early investors get stuck in paralysis through analysis. And the only thing that shakes them out of it is really fear. Fear is the only thing that I've seen motivate people out of this paralysis through analysis. It's fear of being left behind, fear of missing out, and then choosing your fear wisely, becoming more afraid of the 9 to 5. Something happens at the job that shakes them up. Their friend got fired. Damn, they put in 10 years and got canned. And they're like, am I next? Is this how these people roll? So then you become more uncertain, more afraid of the 9 to 5. That when the 9 to 5 becomes uncertain to you, you will no longer be stuck in it. You won't view it as anything worthwhile of being stuck in. You'll view it as risky as you view real estate. And in many ways, when you learn why it's worth it, you will view real estate as a safer solution than the 9 to 5. And then there's no keeping you in it. You're not actually stuck in the 9 to 5. And if you apply the same energy you apply to the 9 to 5 to almost virtually anything else that was well vetted, you would make equal, if not more money, because the money is coming from the energy you're applying and the hours you're putting in. It's human capital. There's an output to your energy. A lot of people just never understand that because they never freelance. They never do it to get the understanding. So paralysis through analysis, you only get over that by getting educated. So these are the top 5 doubts and many of the top 5 things that hold people back. Guys, if you're getting value, like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment that says I subscribe, share the content, more importantly, with somebody else who you want to get value. And once again, if you want to get educated or become part of a community, because you will become one of the 5 people you're closest around. If you're around us in the community, then you're going to become us, is the bottom line. There's no way to be around us and stay tapped in and not get some deals going. Your brain's going to be firing off all day. You're going to be hearing not from only me, but from other investors across the country who are out making it happen all across the country, even in markets you think aren't profitable. which will be eye-opening for many of you. So if you want to tap into our 24/7 cash flow community, click the link in the description, click the link in bio, tap in. Tap in. If you're interested in a ride along, you better DM me ride along or text me ride along or email me, because that thing's out of here. We only bring out like 20 people max. 20 people max. So that thing's pretty much sold out. And then the boots on the ground program, we only have so much capacity. Can't build houses for everybody. This isn't a game. This isn't a gimmick either. I can't build houses for everyone. So we only have so much space in the program. So if it's something you're interested in, you reach out if you're serious about taking action. If not, don't waste the time, because it's, once again, this is not some game or gimmick. There's limited space. There's finite space. We're probably building around 30 properties right now. Like we're doing a lot. And like everyone, like all of you, I have time constraints as well, and obligations. So I can only be so busy building wealth for you guys and building a long-term stuff. Coolest part to me about the Boots on the Ground program is that you guys own it all. I actually take pride in that. More pride in that than anything is like helping you guys to build things that you own, that you can carry for life. Is really, it's really cool. And I know at someday, like somebody's kids are going to get some boots on the ground properties that they wouldn't have had if not for the program helping. Or maybe they get a big portfolio that the Boots on the Ground program or 24/7 cash flow community helped to spark. And that's cool. And it'll be cool to see what those kids do with it, with that type of opportunity. Russ said the ride along is the real deal. Yeah, definitely come out to the ride along. Let's get into why it's worth it. Is it worth it? The reason why real estate investing and rental properties are worth it is the cash flow. The cash flow, man. You can put money in your 401k. Guess what you won't get? You ain't going to get no cash flow. And by the time you go to get that cash flow, they're going to tax it to hell. They're going to just crush you with taxes on it. In fact, you have no idea where the tax bracket will be by the time you touch that money. You have no idea. But the cash flow is there. It's there to put money in your pocket every day. And when you get even one rental property, even a lot of people have that goal, like, yo, I want to get to 10 to 15,000, 10 to 15,000 a month, and I'm straight. Everything is covered, and you will be. But even that first 500 a month, what a wake-up call. Once you prove to yourself once and for all that you can do this, it is over. Like, it is just a matter of time. It is inevitable. It is a foregone conclusion that you will hit your goal. However many properties your goal is. I don't care if your goal is 1,000 properties, 5,000 properties. It's a foregone conclusion that once you prove that you can do one, you will achieve it if you just stick with it. Because money is easier to raise than it is to earn. Once you get a good skill set like this, you could go out and raise $10 million. Seriously. You just got to get good, and you have to be worthy of raising that level of capital and executing. You have to be a good steward if that's going to be bestowed upon you. And then you might not even want it at the same time, because you certainly don't need 1,000 properties for all of you to achieve your dreams, to be financially free, to live life on your own terms, to spend more time with your kids, travel more, and just generally not hate most days, rest more. Some of you just need rest. Some of you need a siesta in the middle of the day and you can't get it. If the real estate gave you a siesta, you'd be a much more pleasant person to be around. You'd be a much more fantastic person to be around for your whole family, probably, and many others. You become a better citizen. But cash flow is good. Cash flow, even a little cash flow, it don't matter how much, just even a little cash flow can be good. In some instances, even zero cash flow can be good. We'll talk about that. Appreciation. A lot of people don't appreciate this aspect of rental properties. They're so worried about the cash flow. And it's funny because this is the 24/7 cash flow university, right? But they're so damn worried about the cash flow that they forget about the appreciation. They're just like, oh, that property only bringing 500 a month. I need 1,000 because I got to get to my 10,000. And it's like, I get all that. But you know what else is big money? When your house appreciates 150K while you were getting $500 a month. and you can go to the bank and pull out 100K tax free. So how many extra $500 payments do you need to get to $100,000 after taxes? Do that math. See the truth. See the truth. That if you buy in good markets, top 10 markets, if a market's listed top 10 on Zillow, maybe you should look at it. And on, NAR.com and like all these different like maybe you should consider investigating those markets. For that question, where should I invest? Maybe you should consider the top markets to invest in, because many others have done their research and they're there. If you think they're smarter than you and they're buying there, then maybe you should too. But the appreciation is huge. And it fits right into this model of going into C-class neighborhoods and gut renovating properties and monetizing them for cash flow. There's only one way to go when you're buying in a C-class or the B minus or even B class, up in most of these markets, especially in a top market, especially in an affordable city where there's net in migration. There's people coming in from more expensive cities every year over year. That's also data that you can pull. How many people are moving in versus out? Where are the people who are moving in coming from? Are they coming from cities with more money than this city, where people make more, people have more access to capital in general? I would definitely say New York residents, on average, the average Joe I run into on the street probably has more capital than the average Joe I run into on the street in Philly, in any of those equivalent locations. Like if I go to Center City, if I go to Manhattan, the financial district, and then I go to Center City, whatever the financial strip of Philly is, I'm going to see more money in New York than Philly, period. So if people are moving in from more expensive cities, your properties are going to appreciate naturally. They're going to pay more to be there because they don't care. They're going to look at New York and say, that's 1.3 million and Philly is 850. Who gives a shit? Let's go. I was willing to pay 1.2 in New York. We're going to pay less taxes in Philly, and we get that. So your prices start appreciating faster than you can imagine. You think the prices are going to go up 5, 10K a year. You're going to have years where the price goes up 50 grand. And you're like, holy shit, the price is up 70K. People are flipping now. It's going to blow your mind. Your property's going to double or triple in value. And if you get 10 of them that all go up 100K, that's $1 million. It's like the easiest way to make $1 million while you're making and that's the point. You should make $1 million while you're making your 10,000 a month. Equity pay down. Equity pay down. A lot of people don't even understand equity pay down. So they're so worried about their cash flow. $500 a month. What can I do with this? They're not thinking about their appreciation, 100K over the next 7 years to do nothing. They're also not understanding that part of the cash flow, even though you're just getting the 500 a month, well, the rest of the rent doesn't just go into thin air. It's doing two things for you. It's doing some of the next thing. It's paying down principal in every payment, every rent check. It's paying down some of the principal. So it's forcing equity into the deal, saving money for you. So while your property's appreciating up, the tenant's paying the debt down. It's widening the gap of accessible capital, which you can access through selling or refinancing, preferably refinancing in the lower interest rates because it's tax-free money. So you're getting a component of every check is going some cash flow, but also some forced savings component in the form of equity pay down. And what about the interest payments? Because we all know the 30-year amortization table is heavily skewed towards the front end with interest. But isn't that interest tax deductible? Like 100% of it as a real estate investor? Yes. The mortgage interest is tax deductible. So every rent check, even though I'm probably one of the only people who will break it down to this level, and there's a lot of talking heads out there, but every check, you get a little bit of cash flow, a little bit of equity paid down, and a nice tax write-off from 100% of that rent payment, even though in your mind it goes to thin air. You're also the portion of that that's going to pay your insurance. That's a tax write-off as well. That insurance cost, that's a tax deduction. When you start to understand the game and how the taxes work and how the bonus depreciation works and how the equity pay down works and how the appreciation works in certain markets, and then the fact that inflation, you all have seen it. You've all gone to the grocery store and seen that $100, and you look and you're like, I got like 18 items that says $127. What like what happened? Inflation, trade wars, tariffs. There's many words for it. As rates go down, helicopter money. But it all is all causing inflation. Guess what else goes up during times of inflation? Housing costs, rents. Rents inflate. So you're getting inflation protection by shifting your wealth to real estate and hard assets. Because even if the value doesn't go up, the appreciation doesn't go up, the rent will go up. That can increase your cash flow. Your equity pay down is consistent. That's just a game of attrition, just survival. If you survive 15 years, they're going to pay off half your mortgage. Damn. About not fully half. Like don't take that verbatim, but about like roundabout. It's going to, or so much that it's very attractive. Maybe they paid down 70,000 and you're like, ooh, or 50K. It's 50K you can put in your pocket and that you weren't thinking about. And then you're going to get tax losses the entire way. But the inflation protection is key. If you could protect the value of your dollar, did you know statistically, there's an article, I'll do a video on this. I'll do like a short form video on it. But there's an article, the dollar has lost 23% of its purchasing power since 2020. 23% of its purchasing power since 2020. If you had a lot of your wealth shifted into real estate, you wouldn't even have felt that. But everybody else feels it. You know what happens when everybody else feels it and you don't? You accelerate beyond the competition. That's what happens. Because you're in a better tax position. You're not even paying taxes, and they are. They're paying taxes. So the guy who's walking around, I'm knocking down 250 at the 9 to 5. Good. And God bless you. And God bless America. But what if you're making that 250 with no taxes? What's the walk away from that 250? You have to really get into it. And there's some high earning cities versus low earning cities and different cost of living. So even all of that stuff is relative. But not paying taxes versus somebody who's earning equivalent to you or even more than you who is paying taxes, you might accelerate beyond them. You have more control of capital, especially if you're deploying it into real estate and then you're getting appreciation that they're not getting. They're not just waking up one day with $150,000 added to their net worth because their property went up. They're not getting that. You're getting the equity pay down. You're getting all these things. And then the cash flow. Damn. So, this is why it's still worth it. I mean, and it's going to be worth it if you can get into reasonable markets where these metrics exist. This is why it's always been worth it. This is why it's been around for hundreds of years. And this is why you can't sit on the sidelines, because as prices go up, you're going to get priced out, because even the hedge funds know it's worth it. Even the hedge funds know it's worth it. And you think they're going to wait for you to wake up? They're going to eat your lunch. They're trying to make this a renter nation. Guess where they're going to start that first? In the biggest cities in America. The major cities. The major cities. Look at the top 10 largest cities in America. Think about some of those cities. It's not rocket science in that sense. Guys, if you're getting value, like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment that says I subscribe. Share the content with someone who you want to get value. If you're interested in the real estate ride along tour, DM me ride along. Come spend a day with me in Philly. A lot of people, is this real? There's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of scams out there. Sure. Do they invite you to come spend the day with them and see the operation and grab lunch? No. Do they build houses for you? No. Do they meet what you want to? No. Like, you kind of have to come out and do your research. If you're skeptical that real estate can work with you, come out, see it hands-on. A lot of this is a fear game. I talk about that, choosing your fear wisely, because fear is a motivator. And many people have lacked belief, and fear is part of that. But there's a lot of fear in building houses and rehabbing properties when you're just getting started. You've never done it before. Brian, you're telling me to go out and look at houses. I never built a house before. I don't know what I'm looking at. Well, there's processes for that. There's strategies for that. There's resources. Like, we have deal analysts on staff. You could go look at a property, shoot a video, send it to the deal analyst. He'll look at the video, put together a rehab budget for you, pull some comps for you, show you the cost of going through the deal. And if you study that, it's a cheat sheet. I just gave you a cheat sheet for how to analyze properties professionally and how to understand the cost of construction. You can answer all of these questions and variables, but getting out there on a ride along, to me, because when I wanted to get into full gut rehabs, it was scary, man. You go in a house, the freaking ceilings in the basement, the roof's in the basement, like it caved in. There's just 4 walls. Can I do this? What is the process for this? You need to come out and see that, because if you can get that fear out of your chest of the process, and you can understand it financially and how to cover and stay small so you can learn and achieve some mastery before you scale up, because you're all going to scale up to hit whatever goals you set, which is why I know you'll all hit them. But coming out to the ride along can help. Coming out to the ride along can help. If you just want to learn the game, you can click the link in the description, click the link in bio, tap into the 24/7 cash flow community. $27. Keep out tire kickers. Very important. You don't want to build a community of people who aren't serious. It's a waste of time. And it's annoying. You'd rather just take your time, build the right community, and then people support each other, which I see a lot, and I love it. I appreciate you guys for that, for supporting each other in the 24/7 cash flow community as well, because that's what it's all about. It's not about me. It's about you guys just connecting and really getting more proof from each other. Understanding that is one of my secrets, which was keeping my circle very tight on real estate. Just keeping it tight on real estate. Everybody I talk to, my inner circle, became real estate before I did many deals. That might be some good advice for some of you. My inner circle, the people I spent the most time talking to in my waking hours, we would talk about real estate. The people I spent the most time talking to in my waking hours, we started talking about real estate long before I did 100 properties. Long. So changing your inner circle, or making your circle more of a real estate circle, is part of your acceleration. And it's part of the process. It's required. It's part of the core curriculum. It's a prerequisite. Must check this box. You must have a tight circle of people you can talk to about real estate, or how are you going to accelerate? This is not a game. You are not going to accelerate on some island somewhere. And you're not a genius. Nor am I. But collectively, very powerful. You can become very powerful in real estate collectively. As an individual, you can do many things, but there is teamwork required. There is a group aspect, a team sport aspect to real estate. Ownership is just a solo sport. I want you all to be like golfers or tennis players. Like, I want you to be solo, or track runners. I want you to be solo. Even if you're on the 4x4, you're kind of just trying to run your fastest split. You want to get the medal, but most runners are there on a solo mission. Ownership should feel like that, because so many aspects of your life, you don't have any pure control over, realistically. You're kind of adaptive. Having your business, you want to have some control over that. It's something that'll keep you coming back to the real estate versus the 9-to-5, where you will perceive less control. Best strategies for 2025. Let's get into this. and then we'll button this thing up because we have a 2-day training. I think many are tapped into that, but we have a 2-day training um tomorrow and Wednesday. We have a that's a paid training, but we have a 2-day. So I got to get ready for that. Best strategies for 2025. We have the Burr Strategy and private money. This is a very powerful strategy. Is learning the Burr. And I think that this is one of the ultimate strategies, is learning the Burr well enough, learning how to buy properties, rehab them, rent them out, refinance them, and repeat the process. Buy the properties, rehab them, fix them up, get the lenders, fix them up, get the crews, fix them up, rent them out, refinance, get your money out of them. Go to that back end lender. Who do I talk to? What do I say? How do I position myself? How does the appraisal work? Answering those questions. They're just questions, and they have answers. They don't need to feel that intimidating. These are basic questions with answers. And when you get good at that process, and that might only take you a deal or two with the right, knowledge and mentorship, you can always accelerate with private money. I would just get through this process first. Get some degree of mastery and competence here. This is the high value skill. And then if you want to go real fast or bigger and just break right free from your 9 to 5, you can always bring in private money or different types of lenders, higher leverage lenders, 90% lenders, 100% lenders, private money lenders. There are people in your network who may want to invest, but they have the number one objection, which is their time. My time out, I want to invest. I don't have the time. Oh, you've already done it before. Cool. Well, I have some capital. Let's figure this out. You can accelerate a couple of deals or take on capital privately and at cheaper rates than hard money. And that gives you what? A competitive advantage against other investors. What happens when you have a competitive advantage or a series of competitive advantages against other investors? You eat their lunch. What if I could find deals better than you? Because I had more deal analysts than you, and I had more inspectors, boots on the ground out in the street than you on a daily basis. Like literally people who can be maneuvered and moved around to complete objectives than you. And I had better lending relationships than you and better contractors. I'm going to dominate you. I'm going to dominate you. You kidding me? It doesn't mean you won't get a good deal here and there. But just means if we go after 20, I'm taking 18 of them. So, you want to get competent. And once you're competent, because that is a hurdle, you can always just raise money. That's a good strategy if you want to go fast. There's FHA house hacking. It's still a good strategy from what I'm seeing in 2025, even if you only had 10K or less, which is where I started. I started my first deal. I only came out of pocket 5K. So that 10K or less, 5K, 10K, 15K, 13K, there's a lot of FHA house hacking that you can do. And you just want to make sure you execute at the highest level on your FHA house hack. If you execute at the highest level, you will quickly accelerate probably to about close to a G a month for most multis or thereabout on this type of an asset. And these tend to be the assets that can 2 or 3x in value, even buying them at full market price now. So there's definitely some incredible opportunities to house hack, to show up with 3.5% and negotiate seller's assist and really get frisky. You have, Section 8. I should have put veteran house. There's a lot of different housing programs. There's also nonprofit programs. There's going to be, I'm sure, new state-based programs, and there's going to be all different types of programs. You can always bet that there will be some type of affordable housing programs out there. There always are. And when they're out there, you can monetize them and you can do extreme arbitrage. It's a very unique opportunity. You have off-market deals and auctions. There's lots of them. Most of them have moved online, which actually gives you more access to them. So some people will complain about the auctions. Oh, now they're online. They used to be in person. But that just means only people who lived very close could do those auctions. Now you can do them all online. So that gives you the ability, if you can go off market or to auctions, you can get properties for um 10 cents on the dollar, legitimately 10 cent on a dollar, 10% of full market value. So doing that is fantastic, man. And then you have creative financing, learning how to leverage seller financing, how to turn the seller into the bank. We have one of our mentees, I believe he just acquired an 8 unit. I might have him come on and talk about it, but I believe he just acquired an 8 unit. I was helping him to negotiate some of the creative financing terms on that deal. But to acquire like can't remember if it's or 8 units. I believe it's 8 units. Creative financing, lease purchase option. And he'll start cash flowing, I believe, like 15 to 1800 a month once stabilized. So he's going to be out on the ride along. So for those who are at the ride along, you can pick his brain about that. And that I love too, because it kind of shares the burden of having your brain be picked. So, and I'd love for you guys to hear it from somebody. And he got a deal through the Boots on the Ground program, a nice deal that's going to appreciate phenomenally. I mean, this property is going to probably be worth like 350K in 7 years. And he's all in it at like 220. So maybe even less, maybe 210. So yeah, it's just going to be a good ride along, guys. So I hope that helped. I hope that helped you guys to think about many of these things. Of course, if you want the 24/7 cash flow framework and kind of what we do in the community and some of the philosophies, because these things will allow you to just navigate better. You can always click the link in the description, click the link in bio, tap in. It's $27 to join. That's like right on Front Street. But I would just recommend staying afloat, understanding that this game is still worth it in 2025. It's going to be worth it. It's almost always worth it. It just depends on certain strategies. If you have multiple strategies that you can use to navigate the market, then different markets will be profitable for different types of strategies. And they pivot. There was a time where co-living was insanely the ultimate move in any zip code. And then I would say now it's a toss-up between co-living and Section 8. It's a straight up toss-up, So the market's always worth it. The answer to is it still worth it? Yes, it's going to be worth it. It's always worth it. You just have to be worth it. You have to be tapped in. You have to have knowledge of how things manipulate the market. And you have to, most importantly, I would say, if you had no other knowledge, I'll break that down. If you had no other knowledge, probably just stay away from the news and all of this. Because if you're not going to take the time to really learn the macroeconomic factors that move markets, just don't get smacked around by the headlines or your algorithm. Learn the cost of construction, get some true real estate education, or come to like a ride along where you can learn how to analyze real estate deals. And then you won't be stuck in paralysis through analysis, because that's the number 2 issue holding you back. It's the number 2. If you have some, enough time and you can carve the time, then you can, you can get in. But this understanding just that, how to get through paralysis through analysis, there are resources to get done. You can go turnkey if time's the issue. If you have time and you're a do-it-yourselfer, then you do it yourself, but you get through paralysis through analysis. Because if time ain't your issue, it's paralysis through analysis. Then you just need to understand why it's still worth it. And why this shouldn't even say still, it should say always worth it. Why it's always worth it is the cash flow appreciation, equity pay down, taxes, inflation. Oh, we didn't even get to the last one, the freedom. How did I miss that? That's a good thing I went back. The last one wasn't inflation, it's freedom. I added that one personally too. It's freedom. When you achieve this goal, it's a goal worth achieving. It's a goal worth achieving. It's financial freedom. But the freedom part is more important, because by the time you get there, if if you're going to hit that goal, get 10, 15,000 a month coming in, and you live pretty low and you continue to accelerate from there, you're going to get to the point where you don't care about the finance aspect. It just becomes part of a rhythm and continuing to do what you're doing. But the freedom aspect is very powerful, and you will get the freedom before you get the finance. You only need enough to cover your core bills realistically, and you can pretty much jump. Like once you get your cash flow up to that level. So a lot of people want 10 to 15,000 because well, with that I could do this, and they're thinking about the extra money they'll have. The extra money will come through. It's really just about covering your cost of living once you can do that. And as you learn how to navigate real estate better, you'll naturally put yourself in a multifamily property where you live in one unit and rent the other one out. If capital is an issue that's holding you back from breaking free from the 9 to 5. But you will achieve freedom. And that's why it's still worth it, because there are very few things. The 9 to 5 rarely, if ever, leads to financial freedom. If that wasn't the case, you wouldn't need investments, would you? You wouldn't need them. Most people have investments in the 401k because the 9 to 5 is alone is not enough. They have to like, oh, we're going to match, we're going to do these things. But then even that, you're exposed to an unpredictable market that you have no control over. You have no control over. And you don't get the tax losses and all these different things. You just lose access to capital. As an employee, your tax position is the worst. You get taxed on everything. You have essentially no write-offs other than standard deductions. So you're put in a worse tax situation. But the freedom comes fast because of all of this stuff. When you have all that working for you, cash flow, appreciation, equity, taxes, and your properties are inflating, everything's inflating. So your money's not depreciating in value. You're not losing that 23% in 5 years that everybody else lost. Your freedom comes faster. So it ain't going to take long with a strategy like this. In 2 to 5 years, you can be a completely different version of yourself. If you want to be, if you want to push yourself, you can do it. It is achievable, and it's not only achievable, it's almost like a foregone conclusion. If you continue to walk this path, this is where it leads. It certainly doesn't lead to a lack of freedom and control and lifestyle. Waking up when you want, go to the gym, doing your thing, kind of building out whatever your program is. You're going to be in a program no matter what. So build out a nice program for yourself. So I hope that helps, guys. If you have any questions, reach out. If you're in the community, definitely, you have questions, DM me, kind of reach out, stay tapped in. We'll get you guys connected and just keep pushing forward, keep studying up, keep learning. If you want to come out to any of the ride-alongs, reach out. I don't know when we'll do the next one. I'll get that question too. I don't know when we'll have the next one. And then we have a training, like I said, tomorrow and then Wednesday. And I'll see my inner circle people, my community people on the inner circle call. Appreciate you guys. Brian Grimes, your real estate mentor. I'll see you on the next one.